Welcome to Talking Touchdowns, brought to you by Nuke the House. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by JC Zargo. And JC, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, right? Because we haven't talked about that enough already.
For sure.
But overall, what are your thoughts and how have things changed for you as this week's continued? You know, we did a quick show to review the game. What's changed for you since the last time we've talked?
Man, I'm just going to start by saying shout out to anyone who's actually watching this show. I think on any given Sunday, conservatively, we're in the top 10, maybe 5% of handicappers giving out information. We're good at what we do. Man, Super Bowl rolls around, we're probably in the top 1%. Everybody and their mom has an opinion. No one has any additional insight. At this point, you've heard it all. If you watch football, you pretty much know enough to bet this game, and you've heard all the crazy stats. One's relevant and not so relevant. So, yeah, it's going to be hard for us to come up with an original thought here, but thanks for tuning in anyways. Not much has changed. Super Bowl is tough, right? Because you have your initial opinion, and if there was only 1 week, if there wasn't a week off, you would just bet that and you'd be fine. But all that time wears on. You hear stuff, you get different opinions, and you really start to question yourself. So I try to just block that out as best I can, taking it in with a grain of salt. But I'm pretty much sticking to my guns on what I said the Monday after the championship games. Got a little bit of insight. Maybe drop some gems. Some stuff for the people to think about. But overall, I'm sticking with the Chiefs.
My main surprise, JC, when we did that show, we thought this line was going to flip, and it's gone the other way. It was -1 when we talked the day after the show, and now it's -2 for the 49ers. It's been as high as 2.5, depending on where you're betting on the books that more actively limit people. It gets out to 2.5. That was one of my big surprises. But overall, I think I become more. I actually feel more secure in my thinking. Couple reports made me say that. Number one, I was listening to Whale yesterday, and he's out there, and he's saying there's a lot of concern that Shanahan's acting pretty stressed out. And that might, basically to me, that can only hurt the team. It might be nothing, but it could be negative. That's one thing to consider. I feel stronger about the Chiefs as this week has gone on. I think that 49ers secondary is really going to have some issues. And I do believe the Chiefs defense is going to look pretty good. I continue to go off the strength of their wins. The Buffalo and Baltimore wins, to me, are so much more impressive than beating the NFC North. Now, I could be incorrect. Also, the 49ers starting slow in both games. This could be disastrous against a team that's much better playing with the lead. So, I'm actually glad that I didn't bet it, though, when we first talked, JC, because I can get a better number now. So my question before we go into all these bets, I see a +115 right now. Should I continue to wait, or do you think that there'll be a little buyback on Kansas City and that there's a lot of people doing what I'm doing?
So here's the thing, and this is what I discovered this past week. I bet early, expecting money to come in to the Chiefs,
Right,
and then getting that number to change. The money has come in on the Chiefs, and this is a concern for some people, understandably so. We've talked about this all season, just that don't put too much weight into public money. Sure, it's something to consider, but number one, it's not a stat relevant on the field, and number two, the public's been crushing it this year. So,
well, I'm not concerned about being on the side of the public or not. I'm just trying to get the best price.
Yep, for sure. So here's the thing, though.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I heard a theory, and I think it has to be true. So all this money is coming on the Chiefs, as I expected, which I thought would drop that number and might even move to the Chiefs being a favorite, and then you're not getting plus money. The theory is Vegas has taken so much money on 49ers Super Bowl futures this year, they need money to come in on the Chiefs to offset that money. So because you look at all that money and you go, how is this number not changed? How are we not at even money or a Chiefs favorite? And that's kind of the reason why. So to answer your question, I can't imagine it changing much more than it already has. I can only imagine it getting worse because I think it seems like the public's really on the Chiefs. I know a lot of people don't want the Chiefs to win, but people bet because they want to win money and not, because which team they want to win. And so as the casual money starts rolling in this weekend, I think it's going to be on the Chiefs, and I think you only risk that number getting worse. So, yeah, I'd probably just go ahead and take it knowing, there's going to be maybe a 5-cent change at most.
All right. Well, yeah, do like Kansas City. Talk to me about all the bets that you've placed since we last spoke. So you're still on Kansas City full game, but you have some other ways you're going to approach this.
Yeah, so I really like Kansas City halftime as well. A couple reasons. I mean, I think they're just going to roll this game. I think it's going to be close, but I think they're going to roll. However, if we want to look at the trends of how the 49ers play, like I said before, if Kansas City gets out to the lead, 49ers aren't going to be able to climb back like they did against the Lions and the Packers. But they've managed it. So at risk of that happening, I think first half is even better than full game, just because that's what we've seen. Chiefs get out to a lead, they hold it, and don't do much in the second half. Niners, they fall down the first half and then catch up. So I really like that first half bet. Every year I go a little bit crazy on the props, and it really messes with my profit. So I got like my good bets, and then I go crazy with the side bets, and it just ruins my overall return. So I tried really hard not to do that this year. So I got like 4 more plays. The 2 that I really like, I'm trying to pull up the number right now. If we bet early on Mahomes rushing yards, which is something like, I think 25? It's 25 or 35. Do you recall?
What's the question one more time?
What was the rushing props that we got in on for Mahomes?
I didn't bet it that day. I didn't have them up that day. You guys did. I did not.
So still, 25. So still 26.5. We expected that number to spike, which is still like before game time. I think that's a great number. He's kind of demonstrated that last game. There's nothing open. He's not afraid to break off. 25 yards isn't much. So I really like that one. And then I also like Purdy INT. He hasn't thrown too many interceptions this year, but if they fall behind, he's going to be forced to air it out. One mistake for a Purdy interception, that's pretty solid. And then 2, a little bit more fun, high odds with some good probability. Number 1, overtime. Again, if we're anticipating a close game, overtime's always on the table. And it's paying out 11-1. So with odds like that, man, like throw a unit on it, and if all your other bets lose, you'll probably still come out profitable. So I like that one. And then the other one, which confused me the number, but I took it. Either team to convert a 2-point conversion plus 230. So with that plus money, I think that's a great play. The 2-point conversions become far more prevalent in recent years, even more so this year.
That seems like the best bet that you made so far.
Yeah, I was shocked.
First of all, if just one gets attempted, isn't it 50-50?
Oh, yeah. 2 points converted.
Aren't teams converting 2-point conversions around 50%?
Correct.
So by throwing that in there, they're saying that essentially there's only a 50% chance that a team tries a 2-point conversion. I would think that would be higher.
Right.
Because let's just assume that we can go to the individual teams, but I know league-wide it's about 50%, and let's just use that for the sake of the conversation. They're telling me by putting that number there that they think there's a 70% chance that there's no 2-point conversion. That seems a little wild to me, especially with some of these teams not necessarily trusting their kicker, and that's the San Francisco side that I'm more concerned with. I like that a lot, JC. I think you've got the wrong price. I would put it at, It seems pretty close to even.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I would still set plus money on it because again, it's still making it.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. It should be about plus 150.
But like I said, like 5 years ago, it'd be a little bit of a stupid bet, but they've become so much more prevalent. And whether it's a team cementing a lead, right, trying to put themselves up by 2 scores, or a team coming back, right, because especially that.
Yeah, because we know in the second half, 2 touchdowns, it's almost automatic now.
Exactly, it is. I mean, any analytical coach is going to do it if you're down 2 touchdowns. So I thought that was an incredible number. So that was my favorite.
That's a great prop. Way. That's a great way to use these props.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me your next one.
That's all I got.
Oh, is this going to be that quick of a show today?
I don't know. What do you got, Spread?
So we can talk about some other ones that we did. I did offensive touchdown. First drive, offensive touchdown, plus 385. I'm basically saying I both like both teams there with the script. And so I think that they'll be able to move in there. I also like the full game under. But if I hit that, then I will rebuy on the under with the winnings. Because it'll go up probably 4 to 5 points. So I can get hopefully I win the plus 385, and then I'll take some of that and I'll rebet the under live. I think you can have some fun with Kelsey. Exact amount of receptions. Right around in the choose one like 7, 8, 9, right around there. Maybe even play all of them. I think that he's going to get targeted a lot. I'm pretty high on Kelsey. I'm also with you on the Purdy interception. I think that's a great look as well. And I went for a Nick Bosa sack, and that one, a lot of people are the opposite because Mahomes has not been taking sacks. So it'll be interesting to see where that number moves. That might be one of the ones that I bet an over that I'm not going to get CLV on. Your thoughts on any of those props there?
I like the idea with Kelsey, but I think your number's a little bit low. So he had, I don't know. You might be right. I was looking at targets instead of receptions because he had 11 receptions.
Actual receptions.
He had 11 receptions against Baltimore, 5 against Buffalo, and 7 against Miami. So not
7, 8, 9 range.
Yeah, I was thinking 8, 9, 10. Maybe 8, 9.
Just choose 2 or 3, and then you just bet them because they're all going to be plus 700 or more.
That's pretty solid. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I think Pacheco rushing TD is a good look. Since McCaffrey's number's so high, you should almost parlay him if you take one. So a McCaffrey Pacheco rushing TD isn't that bad. I don't mind Patrick Mahomes rushing TD as well. You're going to get more there, and those would be the ones I'd be looking at for first touchdown. I would go for those 3 right there. What else was I going for here? What do you think of the... Go ahead.
You can get plus 226 on a Chiefs money line McCaffrey touchdown parlay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. I like that. Under 47.5. I have not bet it yet. Do you think it goes up or down? Normally, game totals go up on game day.
Casuals love overs.
So better around 2 p.m. my time because the game kicks off around 3:30?
Yeah, I'll bet that number gets to at least 48, if not higher.
Yeah. All right. Any other fun stuff that you wanted to go over? Did you want me to pull some up right now and see, just get your thoughts on some of these?
I'm pouring through them because that's the other thing, too, about, this week. This has been all the wild props start to pop up, doink or no doink, longest drive, stuff of that nature. I was trying to find out the stat I wanted, and there was no easy way to find it, and I didn't take the time to go do it by hand. I was curious what the record of a quarterback with multiple appearances against rookie Super Bowl quarterbacks was.
All right, look that up. Look that up right now, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to do the cross sport with the NBA, right? Because you guys know me as an NBA guy. So maybe we can get some original content here,
Okay.
JC. So the first one I have is Jason Tatum points against San Francisco 49ers points. I love Jason Tatum at -2.5. I already have this game going under. Say the Niners get 20 points, about 21. That's where I have them projected at. That means I got Jason Tatum over 24. I'll take Jason Tatum over in that one. And that might be my favorite one right off the bat, just to give you guys a hint. The next one, who will have more? Jaylen Brown points, plus 0.5. Kansas City Chiefs points, minus 0.5. Now that's a little tougher, right? Because we know Brown is not the first option on that team. If Porzingis plays, I would like the Kansas City Chiefs points there. But if I were to bet one of the two, that Tatum one is way safer. I think the second line is much better. The next one, this is fun. Tyler Hero 3-pointers against 49ers plus Chiefs field goals made. So I think the 49ers and Chiefs will have between 3 to 4 field goals in the game. So you're basically betting over 3.5 on the field goals made. Celtics are pretty good at defending the 3-point line. Give me 49ers Chiefs field goal made, and we're basically betting under 3-point Tyler Hero 3-pointer field goals made. Tyler is better at those, so I'll ask him about that one a little later on the NBA show. But I would lean towards the 49ers and Chiefs. But, boy, that's tough, though, because you got to think Tyler Hero has got the chance to have so many more attempts. But the field goals made obviously would be much higher, right? If we're looking at those are 70-80%. Hero's only 40% on his attempts. You got to think Hero's going to have twice as many attempts. Yeah, give me the 49ers Chiefs field goals made. Here's a fun one. More. Jimmy Butler points, plus 1.5. 49ers versus Chiefs, first half points, minus 1.5. All right, so the total's 47. That means first half is probably about 24, 23.5. Let's just put it at 24. So you're betting Jimmy Butler over 22.5. This is a big game. I think they're finally starting to turn it around. Give me Jimmy Butler. That's my second favorite, right behind the Jason Tatum one. Now we'll go to my favorite basketball team, the Sacramento Kings, first half points, minus 9.5. George Kittle receiving yards. So Kings first half, we're right around the 230s lately. That means it'd be 115 for our team total, which means our first half points should be what? About 58, 59. So you're basically betting George Kittle over 50 receiving yards. But Kansas City's pretty good against tight ends, aren't they? What do you think of that one, JC?
Give it to me again.
It's basically, you're betting Kings first half points minus 9.5, but so I'm basically saying George Kittle over 50 because I think that Kings are good for about 59 first half points.
I don't know.
That's a fun one. That's
yeah,
a good
because
line.
Kittle, it's one of those things, right, where it depends how the approach, right? Because Kittle's one of those guys that could see, like, no yardage because Debo and McCaffrey are cooking, or Chiefs lock him down, they're forced to go to Kittle, and then Kittle racks up, yards.
This is the opposite of the Hero one, where Kittle's ceiling is so much higher.
Right.
Because he could potentially get 140.
For sure.
And the most the Kings can get in the first half would be like 70, like realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Who are they playing?
The Thunder.
Yeah, not even the numbers I went.
Maybe in the 60s.
Phase.
Yeah, all right. I'd try to take Kittle there. Probably take Kittle there. All right. DeMontis Sabonis point PRA. Off the top of my head, that's around 40-something. Plus 27.5 against Rashee Rice receiving yards. So let's see, 45 plus 27.5 is what? 60. 62.5. Do you think Rashee Rice has a big game? I'd probably take the Rice one there.
Yeah, I think he will because that's kind of he's kind of been the he's been huge in the
Sabonis does have a
playoffs.
good matchup against the Thunder, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander points minus 12.5 against receiving yards. So that's basically MVS over 20. It's a coin flip. Last one, Chet Holmgren points plus 4.5. Christian McCaffrey rush attempts minus 4.5, but that's heavily juiced towards the points there. Okay, cool. My favorite ones there is I would take the Jimmy Butler points and the Jason Tatum points. All right, JC, did you find what you were looking for?
Not really. It's because these numbers are so skewed. So again, I was trying to dig up quarterbacks returning to the Super Bowl, what their record is against guys who have never been to the Super Bowl, and Brady kind of just screws everything up. Because he's 5-2 in that situation when playing guys the first time in the Super Bowl, and everyone else only has like one game, if any. So it's basically just not as good a day as I thought it would be. And there are like 21, over 20 guys who have played in multiple Super Bowls. So it was a great thought, but I'm here all day trying to figure out this data without just going by hand. So I apologize. But it's favorable. I'll say that. I can at least tell you that it's favorable, but I don't think that's that crazy to know that guys who've been in the Super Bowl play better. And I worry about Brock Purdy in this situation. He's been great to this point, but it's the Super Bowl. It's a different venue. And as we've seen Mahomes, he just turns it on in the playoffs. And this is a scenario he's going to be extremely comfortable in. And when again, it's another one of those games, you're basically being offered a coin flip. And when you get plus money on it, maybe in a little bit of an advantage even, I just don't know how you can bet the 49ers. I will say I bet the 49ers the last time these two teams matched up, and I lost money. So it would make sense that it flips this time around. But I think, a little bit different scenario with Purdy under center instead of Jimmy G. I think it's going to be a great game. That's really what I'm most happy about. But it seems like the ones we expect to be great are normally the ones that kind of flop, and it's the unexpected ones that.
JC, I'll be right back.
Okay. Because when you look at the history, the best ones, right? Like Patriots, Giants. No one really expected the Giants to be in either of those games, and they won, making for great football. But it's been a while since I think we've had a great game. I don't know what your guys' opinion were on the last few Super Bowls. Right, the Chiefs, that last year kind of came down to the wire. The Chiefs controlled pretty much the whole game. Rams, Bengals was, again, it was kind of close, but it was nothing. It was never tense, never had any big moments. I guess what I'm really saying is it hasn't been more come from behind. It's kind of been close games, but the team that won kind of was in control for pretty much the whole game. Would you agree, Spread, that it's kind of I feel like all the recent Super Bowls have been a little dull, and I think it's because there haven't been any comebacks. They've mostly been close games, but the team that won was in control pretty much all 4 quarters.
I was actually looking that up right now for halftime, full-time for the Chiefs. 49ers, Chiefs. Halftime, full-time. Where's Chiefs? Plus 221. What do you think of that? It's not as high as I thought it would be.
No, it's not. Because they're both plus money full-time and halftime.
That's crazy. 49ers is only plus 158, though.
Give me 1 second.
All right. So finally, we like the Chiefs a lot here in this game. I like Chiefs halftime, full-time, and I also like the under That's the way we're going to be looking here. Of course, JC's just put up the Nuke the House logo, and that's going to be so important for you because as good as these props are placed, the keg's going to be able to attack them so much better online, live, during the game, on this YouTube channel. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's the last game of the year, but his NFL season has once again been impressive. So if you want some more winners during the game, make sure you're tuned in to this channel. I really like that first touchdown, first drive is a touchdown, and then to rebet the under. That's pretty impressive here. Kansas City Chiefs are plus 118 in the first half. I also like that one as well. I think it could be a nice game for the Chiefs here throughout. So I expect a big game here from the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's just so tough to try and bet against Patrick Mahomes in this situation. At the end of the day, that could be... It's the difference here. We've talked about this before. It's going to be the team that's statistically better versus the team that has the very best quarterback and the coaching advantage here. And people are going to say that's controversial. But at this point, you got to think that Andy Reid does have that coaching advantage. I also think, a little bit of a coordinator advantage there with Steve Spagnuolo, who's actually he had 2 Super Bowl wins with the Giants as a DC. So he's an impressive defensive coordinator here. I really like the Chiefs here. I'm surprised this line is where it is. The Chiefs had the more impressive wins in the playoffs. You can't tell me going to Baltimore and beating the Ravens is better than beating the Detroit Lions at home in their first outdoor game since December. The 49ers could have lost both those games. Chiefs looked fantastic throughout the whole playoffs. Obviously, the Buffalo game was close and could have gone either way. But you got to rate Buffalo so much higher than Green Bay. And I'm sorry to all the Green Bay Packers fans out there and all the NFC North fans. But this is just too much. I think we're getting great value on the Kansas City Chiefs here. And it's going to be a fun game regardless. All right, I was waiting for JC to come back. But I think that's going to be it for us here today. This is Talking Touchdowns. Hit that thumbs up. Come back this weekend for Kegs Lives Bets. Tyler and I will be doing NBA here in a half hour. We'll see you then.